Well, it was a crazy idea, I guess, that we got. Um, Crazy idea number two. And it uh, it was a show about these kids that wanted to. Uh, they were they wanted to split and live in tranquility, and where everything was beautiful, and that's how we created the four characters. And in order to go to tranquility, they had to sprout wings, and they could fly. And then there's always got to be a villain. There was Uptown, where Bonita Bazaar lived, and where everything was loud and up and screeching. And she lived in a jukebox. And then there were the squares and all these crazy characters that were developed for it. It was quite a wild concept. It was a perfect follow-up to Puff and Stuff. And Martha Ray played Bonita Bazaar.
Bugaloos was not the success of Puff and Stuff, but it had a lot of attention. You know, I went to England, found these four kids, had, thousands of kids waiting in line, in London. And we always got a lot of press. And the people who were after Puff and Stuff, they were interested in what we were doing.
Mick Jagger helped us choose those kids.
But we never got another show out of Bugaloos. We got 17 shows. That's the miracle of how we're still rolling. That we had such short amounts of episodes because of no loyalty to the shows by the people that have to pick them up.
Well, because the networks kept changing their staffs.
Well, that always happens, but that's still happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same.
And compared to those times and this time, as far as ratings are concerned, they were huge if you compared them to the ratings of today, because there were just 3 networks.
This was, my business creative job. You always mix up creative and business, you see. But me pulling off a record deal is very creative. So I always pulled off record deals on Puff and Stuff, on the Bugaloos, on Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. These are like impossible situations. So the Bugaloos, we had an album out. We went in some cities. We went to the top 10 with these kids who never sang together. So
no, it was the day before NSYNC, and that's what we were trying to accomplish. Putting a group together. But a group like NSYNC, they spent close to 2 years or whatever it was, and millions of dollars before they even stepped on stage. We did it in a week or 2.
That was a tough call. The casting was not thorough. You couldn't have. If you wanted a real fabulous singing group, then that's what you look for. If you want people to look right, they can act, then you're going to have to compromise. And we compromised.
And we didn't have the staff. We didn't really couldn't, once again, afford the staff to work on things like that, And
well, this would not be, you can't, I don't know if we can blame it on that, Sid. I think, when we had Capitol Records, when I went to London, we had plenty of staff there. Ultimately, I would have to be there. I wouldn't send somebody in the staff, so I was constantly on the road doing this kind of stuff by myself, and this is, it would have been that way whether we had money or not. I just don't think that, I think we made more happen out of Saturday morning than anybody else. Saturday morning was the drudges, of television. This is nobody. You put your kids in front of the set, then it was goodbye. You didn't watch anything. We forced adults. We got the adults to watch.
Well, that's why that was very important to us creating the scripts and the characters to make sure that the mothers and the fathers, if they were home, would also have a good time watching the show with their children, that they weren't going to just babysit them with a television set. The writing, the jokes, and it wasn't ring around the rosy. You know, I always felt that you can't put a child down, and they want to be an adult, and they want to laugh with their bigger sisters and brothers and their moms and their dads. Because when they laugh hard, the child laughs harder. But just to do little kiddie time shows, we weren't interested in that. And that's why we came up with the show.
The basic thing is not the adults. The basic thing is that we messed with the kids' minds in the 70s. And that's why we have them today. Those adults that were their parents then are not following us today. They're all 50 years old.
But they remember us.
They may remember us,
Yeah.
but our fans are those kids. That's the only reason we're still alive doing this. Whatever we did better than anybody else.